Today we're talking about a camera that can record in up to 4K 30 frames per second, can do 96 frames per second 1080p slow motion video, and can record 4K 10-bit 422 to an external recorder. Not only that, but it has a fully articulating touchscreen. Wow, with those specs, this must be some cutting edge, super secret, very expensive camera that's about to take the video world by storm, right? Well, you've already seen the title, so no it's not. It's actually the almost 5-year-old GH4. And is it still worth it going into 2019? Let's find out. What's up everyone, I'm the Everyday Dad, and if I can figure it out, you can figure it out. I'm legitimately shocked at how good the specs of this darn camera are. Seriously, did you hear what we just said? If a camera released with those specs today, it would be one of the top video cameras of the year instead of a 5-year-old hybrid camera that has kind of fallen out of the limelight. I mean, we're currently recording on a GH5 and minor full disclosure, I'm a bit of a Panasonic fanboy, and a much more big disclosure, thanks to my friends over at B&H Photo for sending this to me to check out. If you'd like to get your very own, and spoilers for the rest of the video, this is still a darn strong camera even in 2019, there will be links in the description below. There are 4 main things that I think a camera needs to do to be considered as a serious contender as an online content slash YouTube slash Facebook slash whatever new social media is currently happening that I don't know about because I'm old. Any of those, you gotta do these 4 things. And another, last and least, and one last quick disclaimer, I'm not a photographer nor am I a professional videographer, so we'll only be covering the specs and features that matter to the online content creator. Whew! That's like too many disclaimers for one video, but we're all now fully up to speed. So the 4 things that we're talking about are video quality, image and audio quality combined, fiddliness, or how easy is the body of the camera to use, how does the camera handle when it's business time, or that means how easy is it to get the footage you want after you hit the record button, and last but certainly not least, what does the upgrade path ecosystem look like? Let's just get into it. First up, video quality. The GH4 has a 16 megapixel micro four thirds sensor. Like we already mentioned, it can record in up to 4K 30 frames per second internally into the camera, and what's really kind of surprising to me as a camera that's this old is it can record up to 96 frames per second slow motion. One of the big features of the GH4 is when paired with an external recorder like my Atomos Ninja 5 that's up there somewhere, it can do both 8 and 10-bit 422 out, which is something that Canon and Nikon only just started getting around to in like the last 3 months. Like, no kidding. I think the image quality is fantastic coming out of this thing, but again, I think most Panasonic cameras have great image quality. The GH line of cameras is their pro line of video specific cameras, and you'll get more pro features inside of this as opposed to something like the G85 or the Lumix G7. Both fantastic cameras, and both cameras that we have videos for if you are interested in seeing them out. The channel's got all sorts of videos about those. One of the things about the GH4 is it does have a micro four thirds sensor for better or worse. I personally really like micro four thirds, and I hope the move towards bigger and bigger sensors doesn't derail companies from continuing to pursue this as a technology. I think there's a lot of really big benefits from having smaller sensors. I do find that the low light on the GH4 doesn't work as well as on my GH5, which is also notorious in the camera realm for having poor low light capabilities. But for me personally, that's not as big of a deal since I either light my videos like right now, or I record outdoors in the daylight. Like, I'm never like in a super low lit situation. One of the negatives about the GH4, and a legitimate negative for me, while maybe again another potentially use case negative for everyone else, is it's a generation before Panasonic started implementing their awesome stabilization. You can still get lenses with OIS, optical image stabilization, built in, but don't expect handheld performance like the GH5, and we'll see this in just a second because don't take my word for it. Let's hop outside for a quick video slash vlogging test. Okay, welcome to the vlogging test of the Panasonic GH4. Now, as we've already mentioned, it has some serious features that cameras that like release now don't have. So let's get straight to it. So what we're gonna do the vlogging test. We do have the stabilized lens on because unfortunately the GH4 does not have built-in in-body stabilization, but let's to the test. Vlogging test begin. Whoa. Okay, so here we are with the GH4, which was again a camera released back in 2014. Now you will have to, so again, there is no stabilization built into the camera, but if you notice like a weird wobble when it looks like I'm stepping on my right foot, I still have a broken toe. So yes, the stabilization is going to be off, but some of that might be, you know, my fault. We do have, ooh, there's the backlight. Can you still see me even though we're being backlit right now? I do have it set to manual focus. One of my favorite things about the Panasonic cameras is the flip screen, but also having the manual focus. You can manual focus while actually using the screen, so you don't actually have to use the focus ring on the camera itself, which helps out so much. But yeah, vlogging test. I think it looks pretty good. You know, any good vlogging camera is gonna have to need that flip screen so you can see. I mean, it's incredibly bright out here. I guess that's better than how rainy it's been the last couple of days. So it's nice that it's bright, but it makes it a little hard to see the screen. You can still see it though. Can you guys see over there? Like, I can still see the screen. And I know that everything's exposed-ish. We're in aperture priority mode, so the shutter speed's gonna be a little too fast as per normal, because I didn't bring the ND, I brought the wrong ND filter out here. Same with this camera. This is the RX100 Mark V. I have the built-in ND filter on it, but the sun's too bright today. Okay, so this has been the vlogging test, woo, of the Panasonic GH4. Back to the video. Okay, and welcome to the indoor/studio test of the Panasonic GH4. Now, something you probably will have noticed is it's a little tighter than it was when we were recording on the GH5. So the GH4 has more of a crop in 4K than the GH5 does. The GH5 actually doesn't have any additional crop on 4K because we're using the exact same lens. It's actually, I put it on the battery grip so that it's in the exact same spot. It's not designed to work with the battery grip, as the GH4 is not designed to work with the battery grip of the GH5, but I kind of have it just set on there for the purposes of this video. So it would be, everything's the exact same, the same lighting, the same everything in the studio. Oh, I guess I turned these lights off. Okay, so almost the same stuff, except those lights are off. The audio is being recorded through a Rode VideoMic Pro Plus going into the GH4 with the internal camera's audio set to -12 decibels. What I do wish though, and what I thought, was that the XLR adapter, for some reason I thought the Panasonic XLR adapter would work with the GH4. It doesn't. Man, if it did, the GH4 would be such a powerhouse of a camera. Like, half the reason I think the GH5 is so good is the audio coming out of this thing is next level good. But enough about the GH5. This is the video quality coming out of the GH4, and again, we're controlling it with the Panasonic app on my iPad, because that's like one of the most impressive things about the whole Panasonic ecosystem is this app and being able to use the same. So we're on the 25mm 1.7 lens at 1.7. Good stuff. Looks like we're in focus, ready to go. This is what you can expect if you wanted to use this as a studio camera. And darn it, I think it actually looks pretty, good. Okay, back to the video. So we've seen how the video quality is, but how easy is it to get the camera set up to obtain all those exceptional pixels? Much like every other Panasonic camera I've used, it's incredibly easy to set this camera up. It has almost the same number of customizable buttons as the GH5 and can do much of the same features, minus the stabilization options, obviously. The big thing on the body that you're missing is on the GH5 you have a joystick to like move around the menus and select your focus, and on the GH4 you're missing that. Something I do like better on the GH4 than on the GH5 is the placement of the record button. Since Panasonic cameras can also use their shutter button for video recording, I like the main recording button being more comfortable for my thumb instead of having to, like, on the GH5 you gotta like reach around here, where I literally never use the record button on the GH5 because I just use the shutter button. So having one back here is pretty good. The body of the camera also continues. Is it continuing if it's actually order? It continues the awesome feelingness of the rest of the Panasonic cameras, though it is sold at a fantastic price right now. As of the recording of this video, you can get it for $700. This camera is way better than that price tag suggests. Another big benefit for setting up the camera is it's got that fully articulating screen with full touch functionality. And on the screen, you can set up some serious pro level assist features such as focus peaking, histogram, audio levels. I really wish all camera had these features. Like, it is so useful. But we can take all the time in the world to set the camera up. That's not nearly as important as once the heat is on. It's business time. Yeah, we've had a little bit of a nomenclature change here on the Everyday Dad, where instead of fiddliness, we're now going to consider how easy or hard it is to use the camera body itself, whereas business time is after you hit record. So how easy is the Panasonic GH4 after you hit record? You want to get some good online content video, and it's actually pretty darn easy, just like all of Panasonic cameras. The big negative we'll still run into when it comes to any of the Panasonic cameras, at least the ones currently on the market, is the autofocus is not good. But if you're going to be doing something like talking at the camera, you can always just touch the screen, focus that way. That's the way I've been doing it, and it works incredibly well. You don't have to worry about the autofocus not working if you just don't use it. And then when you're in something like a studio like we've seen earlier, you can just use your phone or a tablet to connect to the Panasonic app, and then it just works incredibly well to make sure that you're in focus. So don't worry so much about the autofocusing system on the GH line of cameras, because there are workarounds to it. But once you hit record, again, you can see what's going on. You can change the settings while you're in front of the camera. You can get everything going while it's in use. So it's just like, it's incredible. Like, the Panasonic cameras are some of, I'm not sponsored by Panasonic. I've never even talked to anybody that works at Panasonic. They make a heck of a camera. And what's really impressive to me is how well this holds up, even though it's so old. Like, we led off this video with if a camera with these kind of specs were announced today, we'd be like, whoa, it's shattering everybody's preconceived notions of what a camera can do. Olympus just announced a camera a few days ago that can barely do what this thing can do. I mean, it has better stabilization, yes, but it's just so good. And once you hit record, it's still incredibly easy. I'm still sick, it's freezing out here. Let's go back to the video inside so I can warm up. See you there. And we're back again. We've seen what it can do, set it up to do it, and used it to varying degrees of success. If you do end up getting a GH4, what is the upgrade path / ecosystem? Well, the good news is that it uses the exact same batteries and the lens mount as the GH5, so it comes already with a very mature native lens ecosystem. We've been saying this for dang, like almost 2 weeks now. January kind of turned into like micro 4/3 month. Maybe we should get the GH5S next. But either way, the GH4 gets the benefits of the rest of the month's statements of nativity. I'm half delirious right now from a sinus infection. Another big benefit of being a 5-year-old camera is its really good quality, but the accessories, both first party and third party, are numerous and very cheap right now. One of the problems of being like on the cutting edge of technology is accessories are going to be hard or very expensive. So there exists battery grips, cages, microphones. The fact that you can get these for the GH4 at a very reasonable price point is one of the biggest selling points of this camera. And not just that, but you can find a plethora of used items that are severely discounted. Just like the camera itself, you can get one of these used for even better. You can go on eBay and get like a whole kit for almost nothing of accessories. So what, right? So after all of that, should you get a Panasonic GH4 in 2019? If you're looking to get into a 4K camera that has actual pro level video features, and you don't need the stabilization of something like the G85 or the autofocus of something like the Canon M50, spoilers, we'll be comparing those on Wednesday, I think the GH4 is a really strong camera. Seriously, like I said in the beginning of the video, if a camera was announced today with these video features, we'd be calling this one of the best cameras of the last 6 months. Like, it's seriously good. I'm really shocked at how good this is for the price you can get it right now, and that it's like 5 years old. This was really ahead of its time. Plus, again, something we haven't mentioned yet, but having access to the Panasonic app like we're doing right now, you can check everything without having to physically touch it, and that places it up really highly on the hierarchy. So if you don't need the stabilization of the GH5, the GH4 is a fantastic camera that I can wholeheartedly recommend as an online video camera for 2019. Thanks for watching.